If you guys notice my outfit change, as you can see I'm wearing all black and I am wearing shorts because it's just one of those days. So yeah, if you guys are noticing that I've changed, it's because I reshot my top 10 because I just was having some technical difficulties with my last shoot, and those technical difficulties were that I technically hated everything that I shot, so I'm redoing it. So here are my top 10 favorite films of 2018. Starting off my top 10 list is Mission Impossible Fallout.
Your mission. Should you choose to accept it? I wonder, did you ever choose not to? The end you always feared is coming.
Mission Impossible Fallout is directed by Christopher McQuarrie and it stars Tom Cruise, and as usual Tom Cruise delivers in stunt work and he delivers in doing all those stunts himself, which if you didn't know, yeah, he does, and he's insane for it. This movie has fantastic action sequences, and if you guys reached the end of the movie and you guys saw that helicopter dogfight, it's breathtaking and it's so gripping, and the entire time I was flabbergasted. I can't even think of a cheesier word. That scene itself made me sweat, and I was in a very cold room, so there is no other excuse for me to be sweating other than that sequence just being so tense. And man, I can't think of the last time I was that gripped by a movie. Speaking of many other things that Tom Cruise has done for this film is that he did all of that stuff. I don't know if he did most of the stunt work with the helicopter, but the fact that he learned to fly and knows how to fly a helicopter because of this movie, or maybe he knew before, I don't know, the guy's crazy. But the fact that he did all of that is something to admire, and I know that his life outside of media and stuff like that and his personal life has kind of been thrown under the bus, but man, you gotta admire the guy has a passion for what he does and he delivers great movies, and his partnership with Chris McQuarrie is probably one of the best things that's ever happened to action films. So please go watch it. And just in admiration, I just want to throw this clip of Tom Cruise doing one of my favorite stunts that he's ever done before. So here's a clip.
Have you ever felt this way?
Okay, moving on to number 9. My number 9 choice is Burning.
저한텐 세상이 수수께끼 같아요.
Burning is a South Korean film directed by Lee Chang-dong, and it stars Steven Yeun and Yoo Ah-in and Jun Jong-seo. I had to read that because I am a terrible Korean, so I'm sorry, Mom and Dad. Moving on, the story centers around a main character, Jung-soo, that has returned from his military service and is bouncing from small job to small job until he runs into an old childhood friend named Hemi. When Hemi leaves for a trip to Africa and returns with a wealthy and mysterious Gatsby-like figure, a slow burn mystery unravels into an insane conclusion. Spectacular acting all around. Love the main character's performance. I believe his name is Yoo Ah-in. A lot of the times I got his name confused, but he plays a character named Jung-soo, and I had to read the subtitles. I downloaded a version that had very terrible English subtitles because I'm a terrible Korean speaker, so I didn't understand probably 95% of what they were saying. So I had to read subtitles, and these subtitles were god-awful. A lot of the times they didn't even match what I knew that they were saying, and so I kind of had to interpret what was going on. So maybe a lot of the metaphors weren't caught, but I looked up on forums and I did a lot of research about this movie, and I kind of began to admire this movie a lot more as I did more research on it. And it's one of those movies that makes you want to think. It's a mystery in itself, and it starts to unravel, and you start to pick apart this relationship between these three characters, and you realize that something really dark is happening underneath, and it's really scary and unsettling, but you keep watching because visually Lee Chang-dong has like the best visuals I think in any film that came out this year. Well, there are some other competitors that are on my list, but I think for what they shot with, it's just the basics of the Korean countryside and kind of the overall themes of this movie, which are toxic masculinity, sex, desire, possession. All those themes are perfectly matched with this movie. And would I watch it again? Would I sit down with my buddies and be like, hey, let's get some beers, let's watch a movie? No, it's not one of those movies. It's something you kind of want to watch by yourself and feel smarter watching it, and maybe write a pretentious blog about it. Maybe record yourself on a camera and talk about it and use big words to make yourself feel like you're a smart guy. Maybe, who knows? Great movie, you should watch it, and the ending, holy shit. It's a great movie. Go watch it. So, moving on to number 8.
거기에 옳고 그런 건 없어요. 자연의 도둑만 있지.
My number 8 choice is Hereditary.
It's heartening to see so many strange new faces here today. I know my mom would be very touched and probably a little suspicious. My mother was a very secretive and private woman.
Now, I know what you're thinking. If you know me, you know I hate horror films. In fact, so many people will bother me and ask me to go to horror films just because they want to see my reaction, just because they know I like to squirm, they know I like to cover my eyes. Well, let me tell you, I didn't do that during this movie. Okay, I'm kidding. I did it a lot. I did it a lot because this movie delivers on the scares. It's great. I was watching this movie and I was surprised by how dramatic it was, how well acted it was, and how the performance by Toni Collette was something I was not expecting from a horror film. And the director named Ari Aster, Ari Aster? Correct me if I'm wrong. Ari Aster, he uses this visual of these tiny miniature houses that Toni Collette's character actually works on. She does that for a living. She creates miniatures, and its kind of framework is like you're looking in, just from the opening scene actually, you're looking into this tiny house, and then inside you see a character walk into one of the rooms and you're like, wow, and then it cuts to them actually living out the real movie. And that visual in itself, it feels like you're watching this family fall apart. You're watching these tiny little characters that are being manipulated by this force that is a lot bigger than them, and they can't handle it. And it touches on themes of mental illness, it touches on themes of grief, and all of that stuff adds to the horror. And you would think, oh, okay, but what are you expecting? You're expecting these like jump scares to come out, you're expecting loud noises, but no, the way they use sound design and the way they use shadows and the way they use darkness in these scenes is really unsettling, because it's like when you have a Polaroid and you're starting to develop it and the picture kind of shows up out of nowhere and you're kind of like, well, what is that? Did my eyes show up in that picture? I can't really tell. Oh, okay, we're all in it. Okay, cool. We got a good photo. It's like that, but when you're observing a scene, your eyes kind of adjust to the darkness and you're like, oh my God. It's burned into your retinas. Like already you're captured by whatever's in the scene and you're so unsettled. And I don't know, for some people they thought a lot of the scares were cheesy, and yeah, I can see where some people might be like, okay, that was kind of stupid, but if you can't find something to enjoy out of this movie, then I think you should watch it again and just try, because there's so much good content in here. And honestly, the scene that involves her son, whose name is Peter, and the creepy girl Charlie, who I had to watch interviews just to kind of figure out if she's like a real normal girl who doesn't make this noise. I had to see if she's a normal girl because I was so scared and so unsettled, because I'm a big wuss. And oh yeah, what was I talking about? I was talking about the car scene. I didn't want to touch on it too much, but when you watch that movie and you don't feel unsettled by that scene, and you don't feel like it's the most terrifying 5 minutes of your life, go see a therapist. I can recommend a few. I know some good ones. Moving on from just that, but Toni Collette's performance, everyone's putting Oscar buzz around her. Everyone's saying, give her the Oscar nomination, give her the Oscar win, or whatever. Like, I can see completely why they want that, and I agree with that. performance was amazing, and the dinner scene alone, I'm gonna play a clip.
Gino's pizza rolls, they're the best. And now they're made with 20% more real cheese. Awesome.
Plus, it's way better than what she usually makes. Hey! I am your mother!
Cut! Okay, obviously that was a joke. Okay, here's a real clip.
Okay, so fine, then say what you want to say then.
Peter.
I don't want to say anything. I've tried saying
Okay, so
things.
try again, release yourself.
Oh, release you mean?
Yeah, fine, release me, just say it. Just fucking say it.
Don't you swear at me, you little shit! Don't you ever raise your voice at me! I am your mother! Do you understand?
Look at that. That is acting. That is acting, people. 101. So, that is why Hereditary is my number 8 pick, and I'm going to move on to number 7. But by the way, watch that movie. It's creepy as hell. But number 7.
I just don't want to put any more stress on my family.
My number 7 pick is the Clove Hitch Killer.
Knot tying exemplifies the strength of a troop or family.
How come Dad doesn't have to help with couponing?
Because your father has his own hobbies.
Ah, the heater just turned on. The Clove Hitch Killer stars Dylan McDermott. Dylan McDermott. The Clove Hitch Killer stars Dylan McDermott. Come on. The Clove Hitch Killer stars Dylan McDermott and Charlie Plummer. I got it! I got it, guys. It's a wrap. It's a wrap right there. I'm by myself. There's no one else here. The Clove Hitch Killer stars Charlie Plummer and Dylan McDermott. And the movie is about a boy who suspects that his all-American father might be the infamous Clove Hitch Killer. A local killer in their area who takes women, strangles them, and ties a knot around things, I guess. But that's his calling card. English is my first language. English is my first language. I have to tell myself that, because it is. He ties a knot around called the Clove Hitch knot, and that's basically his calling card. It's kind of like when the Joker leaves a card, except it's not as funny. The Clove Hitch Killer is a movie that I didn't hear about, but a lot of reviewers that I watched talked about it, and I was like, okay, I gotta watch this. I gotta see what the big hype is. And it's a movie that I think was released by Amazon Studios. Correct me if I'm wrong about that. But I rented it, or I watched it online, and basically I was really surprised. This movie was really good. And by really good, I mean it's a movie that I would revisit again, and it's a movie that I'd want to recommend to people. And that's the thing about top 10 favorite films. It's favoritism. It's what you would want to recommend and what you tell people about and what you'd say, hey, you need to see this. I think that's what kind of puts things on top 10 lists. So for me, this is one of those movies that I really wanted to have people go in and know nothing about. And that's kind of what I want for people to kind of go in and figure out for themselves. The Clove Hitch Killer is a simple premise, and basically the synopsis itself kind of tells you what to expect. And surprisingly, there's not too much mystery to it. It's a lot about kind of the inner workings of this family and kind of what's going on inside this boy's mind as he tries to figure out this mystery of is he or isn't he a killer. And it's really, really intriguing, and there's a scene in there that really caught me off guard and it really disturbed me. But you gotta see it for yourself. Dylan McDermott. Why can't I say that name? Dylan McDermott. Dylan McDermott. Say it, Brandon. Dylan McDermott. What is it? Like, I don't know. Is it like a nursery rhyme? Whatever. Dylan McDermott. Bobby. Dylan McDermott. He puts on a really great performance in this movie that I don't really watch any movies with him. I know he's in American Horror Story, but I don't watch that show. My girlfriend does. I just have no interest in watching it. Just looks kind of cheesy to me. and I don't know. The only good thing that I know that came out of it is probably Evan Peters. He's a great actor. Zachary Quinto. No, he didn't come out of that. Whatever, I don't watch that show. But I know he's in like season 1 of that, and I didn't think nothing of him. I just thought he kind of looked like the main character from Last of Us. But yeah, he's really great in this movie, and he's a guy to look out for. I don't know if he's being put in any other movies, but really great performance. So, Clove, Hitch Killer, that was my number 7.
Where are we going?
Almost there, bud.
On to number 6, which is 8th grade.
Hey guys, it's Kayla back with another video. So, the topic of today's video is being yourself. Being yourself can be hard, and it's like, aren't I always being myself? And yeah, for sure. But being yourself is like not changing yourself to impress someone else.
8th Grade is directed by Bo Burnham, and it's his first directorial debut, but if you did not tell me who directed this movie, I would have been shocked to know that it's Bo Burnham, because I've been watching his stand-up, I've been watching, well, not really his stand-up, but I've been watching his shows, and I've been watching his comedy since he first debuted on YouTube, and he was that funny piano guy. But you watch this movie and you realize how introspective he is and how great he is at examining what it's like to grow up, and how focused he is on this one particular grade, because Elsie Fisher also stars in this movie as the 8th grader that we're speaking about in this movie, and she is fantastic. I felt her performance. I felt like it was so real. I felt like we were actually watching an 8th grade girl, not to sound creepy, but I felt like we're following the life of an 8th grade girl and kind of that transition from 8th grade to 9th grade, which for us over in the US is going from middle school to high school. So I know that feeling of being uncomfortable, being unsure of yourself, being anxious all the time, and knowing that you don't care about, or you tell yourself you shouldn't care about what friend groups you want to be in, or telling yourself what groups are popular, and kind of distinguishing yourself amongst those people and thinking you can't fit into any of these because you don't have certain talents, you don't have skills in sports, you don't have skills in math, you don't have any of these things, and trying to kind of mold yourself into this person that you're not. And watching Elsie Fisher's performance and watching Bo Burnham's direction was really intriguing because everything was so relatable. And sometimes I hate myself when I say it. I hate when I go, oh my god, that movie was so relatable because that person farted, and I fart in real life too. It's like, no, it was so deep and so cringy at times. And I was like, man, I've been there. Like, I feel that performance. I feel that because I have said something stupid, I've said something out of line that I regret, I've said something to try to fit in at a certain time, and I've made myself uncomfortable trying to feel comfortable. And it's that fight within yourself that is so perfectly captured, and 8th grade is the perfect grade to capture in this movie because yeah, it's that phase where you're not even comfortable in your own kind of middle school pocket of time, and then you're transitioning to this whole nother world that feels like, for you, a whole nother world. Like, it feels like you're getting shipped off to Pandora, and it's just high school. And you look back and you're like, high school wasn't that bad. Like, I had small problems then. Like, I was kind of a jerk. I said some things I regret, and I did some things I regret, but like, it's high school. It's kind of in the past, but a lot of the things you think of before you get into that stage of your life, it's a horror film waiting for you, and I think this captures it really well. And Josh Hamilton, who plays Elsie Fisher's father in the movie, puts on a great performance as a father who's just trying to break into his daughter's life, who's trying to understand her in this weird transitioning period of her life, who's trying to get to be her father because he's grown up with her and he's watched her grow into this young adult, and he's kind of scared that he might lose her in this transition. And it's just a really thought-provoking and well-intentioned film, and I really liked it a lot, and that's why it's number 6 on my list, and I think you should watch it too. So, moving on to number 5.
You never know what's next, and that's what makes things exciting and scary. and fun.
When did you get Snapchat? What grade?
5th grade.
Fifth grade?
What? Yo, see?
Oh my god, my camera's falling. Yeah. That was an action. Ooh. So basically, Mad Max, or oh my god, this camera is. And please don't hit press pause. What the did I just say? Good stuff. What is this? What is this? Coffee? Yeah, it's coffee.